actually, it's not the policy is not already started, but it's going to be started. It's in the developing process. Nepal is in the phase of the basic preliminary phase of preparation for developing the safeguards and also for the RED implementation. So safeguards here, I particularly address to safeguards in relation to indigenous peoples, and the safeguards that address the indigenous peoples' traditional practices, knowledge, our customary practices, our rights in relation to the attachment to the forest because of the symbiotic relation of the forest, and the safeguard that need to address in the RED implementation of indigenous peoples.
I mean, RED is often seen as a policy applied from on high, from international organizations. I mean, RED presumably has things it can learn from indigenous people with their long, thousands of years of relationship with the forest. Is it a two-way process? Does the international organizations, the NGOs, learning from indigenous people in Nepal, and Nepalese indigenous people learning from RED?
Yeah, you are right. In a way, like RED is more like a top-down approach, but the implementation and the success of the RED is possible only from the bottom-up approach. The bottom-up approach is the people who are living there, the indigenous peoples. And when you see the the forests, remaining forests in the whole world, including Nepal, it's among the indigenous peoples area where indigenous peoples are. No, so this is the crucial. This is already the enough examples showing like if you want to have a sustainable management of the forest, we need to respect and the continuation and the promotion of indigenous peoples' traditional management of forest system and practices. And if we learn from this one in the whole RED mechanisms, and by addressing these issues in the safeguards, and then we'll have it's a good impact of RED or the conservation of the forestry and biodiversity and sustainability of the livelihoods. So that is one of the crucial examples and crucial point I would like to share. Like if you want to have a successful implementation of RED, or if you want to have a management of the forest giving the continuity, we have to respect the indigenous people's traditional culture practices of forest management to achieve a long-run goal.
What are some of the dangers, the forests in Nepal, especially the forests where indigenous people are living? What are the dangers that you face? What is the damage that has been caused in Nepal?
Yeah. In Nepal, like if we, particularly in relation to the forest, in the past, in the history, when we see like 1950s, after 1950s, different national protected areas, policies and programs and act, and also the community forest coming up, and then all the policies and program doesn't address the indigenous people's traditional customary practices, their livelihoods, their practices that has been continuing for generation. No, and that has actually negative impact for indigenous people, not only for indigenous people, but even impact for the sustainability of the management of the forest. And now we see like because the forest which is managed by the government, or even the other forestry where there's indigenous people's traditional practices are not recognized, the damage is more worse. So this clearly shows, like throughout the history, which the policy did not address the indigenous people. In the RED process, we strongly emphasize and to push that indigenous people's traditional practices to be secure in the safeguard system, particularly with the social and environmental safeguards. When you see here, like one of the main threat here is also in the negotiation process in the substance in the RED plus, in the Cancun safeguards. Still now the methodological part is not decided here. It's still going to postpone 38th session in Bonn. And another part is also similarly with the LCS RED text. It doesn't talk about the implementation of the non-carbons benefits, which has been already adopted here. So these are all the challenges for indigenous people. So that is one of the reasons why we have been saying, like either in the global level or the national level, in the local level, the implementation of safeguards to be done very in proper manner that address the indigenous people's safeguards, particularly addressed by the Cancun agreements.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.